Yo my people, welcome back to my YouTube channel. It still sounds weird saying that. If I ever laugh when I'm speaking about liking or subscribing or saying this is my YouTube channel, just know that it's because I'm completely out of my comfort zone. I'm still getting used to actually speaking to a camera like this. Obviously I know you guys know that I do it on social media and stuff, but doing it on YouTube long form with a proper camera like this is very different. And saying stuff like welcome back to my YouTube channel, it feels weird. So let me get used to it. But anyways, today we're going to be doing a Q&A. The reason I wanted to do it was because I've been posting content for about a year now on social media, so like TikTok, for about a year. I posted my first video on October 10th, 2024, and I'm filming this on October 24th, so it's been just over a year now. And I didn't start posting on Instagram until like January. So January, it's been about 10 months. So a little while now, obviously still quite fresh, but a little while now. But I realized I've never actually done videos about myself. And obviously that's a good thing because all my videos are talking about God. Like I want to give him all the glory. I want the focus to be on him. I'd rather people follow Jesus than follow me on Instagram or social media or anything like that. So the focus has always been on God. But at the same time, God put up my heart, was like, how are you meant to relate to people, or how are you meant to build a community or help lead people to Jesus if they don't know you first? So I put up my story asking you guys what questions you want to know. You guys dropped quite a lot of questions. The majority of them, I will say now, were about testimony. Now, as you can see all here, I got a lot of messages and questions about what is your testimony, what led you to Christ. And I'm going to do a completely separate video on that because that will take longer. Like that'll be a whole video in itself, me sharing my testimony, how I came to Christ. So I won't be speaking about my testimony today. That'll be another video, hopefully the next one. But I will be answering the rest of the questions. So let's get straight to it. First question is, do you live in the US? No, I do not live in the US. I live in the UK. I live in England. I live in a small county. I say small county. I live in a county called Bedfordshire, which is like an hour north of London. But if I'm ever speaking to anyone who's not from the UK, who's not from England, I always just say London just because it's so close. So to people that don't know the UK, I just say I'm from London. But if you're in the UK, if you're in England, then I live in Bedfordshire, which is like an hour away from London north. I get this question a lot. What is your ethnicity? So I am half English, half Brazilian. So my dad's side is fully English. And then my mum's side is fully Brazilian. I was born in England, so technically I'm more English than I am Brazilian. I do know the Brazilian language, which is Portuguese. So I am mixed race, but a lot of people do think that I'm like got some sort of Caribbean or African heritage, which I don't. I'm just English and Brazilian, which is Latino. I love speaking Portuguese. I love my Brazilian heritage. I do want to speak even more Portuguese. I'm not like fluent, but I know a lot to have like a conversation with people. I never lived in Brazil. I was never born in Brazil, but I do have a lot of family in Brazil. Literally all of my mum's family is in Brazil right now, and then all of my dad's family is in the UK, so it's very split in the middle. Okay, are you single? No, I am not single. I am in a relationship with my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. I am single. I'm not in a relationship. I'm not courting. I'm not dating. I am in a season of singleness where I'm just focusing on my relationship with God, focusing on work, focusing on content, as you can see now, starting new stuff. So it's not like I'm like completely opposed to dating now. I'm just extremely focused right now on the things that God has me doing. So my content, my work, focusing on my body, just developing myself, especially in my spiritual journey as well. Because I don't think I'm anywhere near or close to the man I need to be to sustain a marriage or sustain a godly relationship. I want to get to a place where I am 100% confident that I know that I can lead a woman of God. Not just a woman, but a woman of God. And I could be trusted with that. So yes, I am single, but no, I'm not really looking for anything right now because I know I've got a lot of growth to do. But hey, who knows? I might be ready and I'm just thinking I'm not, and God might send my wife tomorrow. But who knows? So Isaiah 60 verse 22, at the right time the Lord will make it happen. So we shall see. And don't get me wrong, like I love being in a relationship. I've been in relationships before and I've loved it. And I also love being single, which is why I'm very at peace with where I am in my journey and where God has me and where he's taken me. I know one day I'm going to have a wife. I know one day I'm going to have children. I know one day I'm going to have a beautiful marriage and never get divorced and have a beautiful covenant that God will honor and that I'll be able to honor God with. But I am at peace with being single in my late 20s. I know it will come in God's timing. What do you do for work? So I work in marketing. I work at a marketing agency that's based in Manchester. I've been working in marketing for about 5-6 years now. So that is my day job. That is my 9 to 5. I work in a marketing agency and then obviously do content part-time. Eventually, The goal will be to do content full time, to do YouTube, like Instagram, TikTok, all that sort of stuff full time, because that is the dream, right? To talk about God, to talk about the Lord, to preach the gospel and get paid for it at the same time. Like, that is the ideal scenario. Eventually, there will be a time where I will be doing this full time and being able to help encourage others in their faith journey and actually sharing the gospel online. Did you go to uni? Now, for those of you in America, that is the same as college. Did I go to uni? No, I did not go to uni. I didn't do A levels or anything. I didn't really focus in school, so I didn't get very good grades with GCSEs. So I went to college straight after school. I wouldn't say I wasn't interested in it. I was just doing it at the time because I had no idea what I wanted to do with my life. So I just picked anything that I thought, oh yeah, I could do that, which was spraying cars, painting cars. So I went to college for 3 years, finished a course there, and then got an apprenticeship in a garage. We lasted there for about 9 months before I headed into like the marketing world and entrepreneurship and stuff like that. I should have answered this first really, but how old are you? I am 26. I turned 26 on October 5th. As I said at the start of the video, it's October 24th today. A few weeks ago I turned 26. Now I'm in the second half of my 20s, which is crazy to me, to be honest. But yeah, man, pushing 30, which is crazy. I'd say I'm aging like fine wine. No, I'm joking. But yeah, 26 years young. What is your favorite gospel music? I'll tell you right now the like 5 songs I've been absolutely spamming this year. First song is What a God by SEU Worship. Unbelievable. Second is Thank You Jesus by Josh Baldwin. Third is Design, the spontaneous version by Upper Room. Fourth is Feet of Jesus by Legacy Nashville. And then the fifth one is Only Jesus by Housefires. Those are my favorite worship songs this year so far. I do listen to mainly contemporary worship, so like stuff like that where it's live music from a worship group. And I also do listen to some UK gospel artists such as Called Out Music, who I listen to a lot. Imran, who's a gospel rapper who's sick. A couple of American artists as well, like Alex Jean, my boy Jay Christopher, shout out him. Keyshawn Boone, who's also a sick rapper. So yeah, there's a lot of gospel music artists I listen to be honest, but the majority is just worship music. And then when I need a bit more oomph, like in the gym and stuff like that, I'll put on like a bit like gospel rap and stuff like that. What are your goals in life? Oof, deep question. It's funny because my goals before I came to Christ aren't massively different to the goals that I have now that I'm in Christ. Bear with me. Because the goals I had before I came to Christ were stuff like make a lot of money, stuff like do a lot of traveling, stuff like get a family, get a wife, get kids. And I still have those goals now, but the intent behind it is different. So before, I wanted to make a lot of money because I wanted to flex. I wanted to get a house because I wanted to look rich to others. I wanted to do traveling because I wanted to go to the clubs and party islands all the time and buy bottles and go to the VIP clubs. Whereas now, I want to make a lot of money because I want to provide for my family. I want to make a lot of money because I want to be secure. And I want to travel because I want to see the beautiful world that God has created. And I want a beautiful wife and kids because that is one of my biggest goals ever, is to be an amazing father. I genuinely feel like my most important calling in my life is to be an amazing father. I want lots of kids and I want to be the best possible dad I can possibly be. And I know I can only do that if I'm following in Christ's footsteps. So my goals in life haven't actually changed that much, but the intent behind it and the reason behind them are completely different. And as far as that ministry, I don't want to say anything now because I have no idea what God has planned for me in ministry. But as long as I'm doing something full time that honors God and benefits the kingdom, then I'm happy doing that. Do you regret your tattoos? Simple answer and easy answer, no. I do not regret any of my tattoos. I don't regret getting them. I don't regret getting any specific designs I've got. I love my tattoos. Okay, I'd even get more. If ideas came into my mind and I wanted to get some, then just because I'm a Christ follower now, that wouldn't stop me. I don't think tattoos are a sin. I believe if anyone does their research and looks into it, they should also see that it isn't a sin as well. It's not inherently sin, obviously depends on the intent behind it. But a lot of my tattoos glorify God. Like I've got Alpha and Omega on there. I've got scriptures on the back of my legs, stuff like that. So I love my tattoos. I don't regret any of them. And I don't think anyone should be condemned or feel guilty because they have tattoos. Are you a football fan? If so, what do you support? Do you play any sport? So I do, as a typical British guy, watch football a lot. I wouldn't say I'm a die-hard football fan as it used to be, but I do still follow it. I do still watch highlights. I do still follow like the Premier League and stuff like that. I do technically support Man United, and I say technically not because they're losing now, but because I don't really watch games. I don't keep up with them. If someone asks me, oh yeah, United's got a tough game this weekend, I'll be like, oh, do they? Like, I wouldn't know. But if someone asked me what team do you support, I'll say Man United. Even though when I lived in London when I was young, I used to support Arsenal. So I actually switched teams at like 10 years old, I think. God knows why, I just did. So now I'm basically a Man United supporter. But yeah, if you want to ask me what games Man United have this weekend, I'll have no idea. So take that as you will. Yeah, this is my favourite question so far. It says, if 5 of your fingers could dispense a beverage, which 5 are you picking? Oof, I like this question. Okay, wait, I need to think about this. Okay, easy. First one's water, just for complete comprehensive abilities, and it's the healthiest thing. Second is coffee, another easy one. Third is Lipton iced tea, which is my favorite drink ever. Oh, number 4, I'm gonna do Guaraná. If you don't know what Guaraná is, it's a fizzy soda drink, but it's Brazilian. It's a Brazilian drink, and it's honestly one of the best drinks in the world. If you haven't had Guaraná, I'll put an image of it here so you know what it looks like, but I promise you, if you ever get a chance to try this drink, it is the best soda fizzy drink out there, I promise. And then number 5, I'll probably just go like orange juice or apple juice, just to keep it simple, because like on holidays you want juice in the morning, right? I've got a couple fizzy ones, I've got coffee, I've got water. Yeah, I'll do orange juice over apple juice as well all day. How many kids do you want? Specific number I wouldn't say, but I do want a lot. I want minimum like 3. I think 3 to 4 is like the sweet point for me. A couple girls, a couple boys, or 2 boys and 1 girl sounds perfect to me. But who knows what the Lord has planned? I might end up having 5 kids. I might end up having 2. Who knows? But for me, right now, I'd say 3, 4 is like ideal. Cat or dog person? Easily dog person. My sister got a dog earlier this year, a Cocker Spaniel. And I knew I wanted a dog before. Even before my sister got a dog, I knew I wanted one just because I love dogs. But I never knew what it felt like to actually have a dog and have a relationship with a dog. I know for you undog lovers, that might sound crazy. But for the people who actually have a dog or have a relationship with a dog, you know what I'm on about. Like, there is something special about having a dog. And it's not even my dog, it's my sister's dog. But I see it every week, I see it most days. And I love that dog so much with all my heart. So I am definitely 100% a dog person. How long have you been creating content and sharing the truth online? So I have been creating content for about a year now. Like I said in the beginning, I posted my first ever video on the 10th of October 2024, and it's now the 24th of October 2025. So literally just over a year, my first ever TikTok, and in around 8 months on Instagram. So yeah, it's not been long at all, and I'm absolutely blessed with what God has done with it so far. It's exceeded my expectations. Did not expect to be where I am right now with the platforms and stuff. Not that the followers matter too much to me, but it's just knowing that the videos actually are doing something for some people. Right? The whole point of creating content is to know that people find your stuff valuable. Not that you need to find your validation in it, because my validation isn't God, but it is good to know that the work that you put time and effort into is actually resonating and helping people. That is the perfect scenario for someone who does content. So yeah, I'm super blessed to be doing it, and may it continue long into the future, God willing. Oof, this one's deep. What kind of man do you want to be remembered as? I want my life to reflect how much I love the gospel and how much I love people. So when my time does come and I do get upgraded to heaven, I do want people to remember me as a man who, 1, truly loved Christ, and 2, truly loved people. If people can remember me as a man who was those 2 things, then I'll be happy. Cool, that was a deep question. How do you do social media while still keeping the sincerity of your relationship with Christ? One thing that God has actually taught me this year is that every time I've tried to do content when I haven't spent intentional time with Him, I'm not able to do it. Every time I've tried to speak about a topic that I haven't studied or haven't spent time reading about in the Word, or haven't spent time watching a sermon on, or haven't spent time asking God for wisdom on in prayer, I am not able to speak on that topic. So anything that you see about me speaking about on social media or doing a video on, it has completely come from a place where I've fostered that in my private life. So for me, it's quite simple. I can't do social media if I don't do Christ. I cannot speak truth if I don't get the truth initially from the word, from prayer, from God Himself. So truthfully, I never really understood when people say they struggle to balance content and God. If you really had the priorities in order, you wouldn't need to stress about if you really had your priorities in order, you wouldn't need to stress about balancing the two. Because if you focus on God first, then the content will fall into place. If you actually spend time focusing on the word and focusing on your relationship with God, then pouring out into other people is going to be easy. It's going to be way easier than you trying to pour out without getting poured into. So focus on spending time in the secret place and getting poured into by God. As Jesus said, if we are not attached to Him, the true grapevine, then we will bear no fruit. So anytime I've tried to do content that is not attached to God, I cannot do it. So keeping my sincerity of my relationship with Christ whilst doing social media is completely reliant upon my private life. Jesus also said that you will be judged for your private life and not your public life. So if you are trying to do content or social media, focus on God first. Focus on being with God rather than doing for God. God is not bothered about your performance. God is not bothered about your views. God is not bothered about your social media platforms. God is not bothered about this video that I'm making to you right now. He's bothered about if I go after this video, go and do my hours of Bible study that I do every day. He's bothered about me being on my knees at the first hour of the day, praying to Him praying that I have a good day, and he's with me every step of it. That's what he cares about. He does not care about filming. He does not care about performance. He cares about you and your heart for him. And this directly correlates with the next question, which is your Christian walk always perfect? And how does it feel posting content if/when it's not? When it's not perfect, I am trying not to post content, because how can I be an example to other people if I'm not being an example to myself in my private life? So if I do have those seasons where I'm distant from God, or if I've fallen into sin and I want to hide my face from God, or I feel like I'm not on fire for God as I usually am, then I will not focus on social media. I will focus on going back to him. I will focus on getting my spiritual walk right in my private life before I go into the public eye. So if you ever see me not posting for days or for weeks, just know that I am in my secret place, sorting myself out. I am chasing after God. I'm getting right with my spiritual journey before I try to lead anyone else in their spiritual journey. What Christian books are you reading now? Any recommendations? So I actually recently finished these two books. So the first one's Screwtape Letters by C.S. Lewis, and then You Are a King by Dr. Miles Monroe. These two are bangers. If you don't know about Dr. Miles Monroe, he is a GOAT. He actually is in heaven now, but his books are amazing. I think he's got a few of them. This is the first one that I've read, and this was powerful. And it literally talks about experiencing the power of your kingdom citizenship. So when you hear me talking about kingdom, and when you hear me talking about citizenship, and when you hear me talking about being an ambassador, these are theology that I've gotten from Dr. Miles Monroe. And then the Screwtape Letters by C.S. Lewis is also a sick one, because it basically talks from the view of a demon, from a senior demon that is basically giving advice to a junior demon about how to deceive and take Christians off their path into hell and away from heaven. So it gives strategies of the enemy, which is really cool because we see it from the enemy's lens. Even though in the book, God is called the enemy because it's the demons writing the letters. But it's a really good book where you can find out strategies the devil uses, the enemy uses against you to take you away from God and actually bring you closer to sin, closer to death, closer to hell, and eternal separation from God. So if you want to learn the devil's strategies, read this. If you want to learn about all the benefits of your kingdom citizenship, then read this. How did you deal with the urges of going back to your old life? So for me, in the beginning, it was quite hard. Like I went through a very lukewarm period. I'll speak more in detail about this in my testimony video. But I went through a very lukewarm period when I first started going to church, where I was still doing all the worldly stuff, but going to church on a Sunday, because I didn't want to leave my old life, because it was comfortable, because I thought I was having fun. I thought I was doing what every 20-year-old guy should do at that age. So in the beginning, it was hard because I didn't truly know Christ. I didn't have a deep, intimate relationship with my Creator. So letting go of the old life was hard. But the more I grew in my faith, the more I read my word, the more I went to church, the more I studied, the more I prayed, the more I spent intimate time with Jesus, at the feet of Jesus, the old life slowly started to strip away from me. The wants and the desires from my old life started to fall away one by one. Slowly but surely, eventually, the need and desire for the old life was completely stripped away. And now I look at my old life and I'm disgusted. I genuinely now look at the things I used to do and I can never imagine myself going back to that. So if you are someone who's struggling of letting go of your old life and coming into a new life with Christ, stop trying to focus on stopping the old habits, but start focusing on creating the new habits. Start focusing on creating the new identity that you're walking into. Start doing different things. Don't focus on not drinking, don't focus on not smoking, don't focus on not doing drugs, but focus on reading your word. Focus on prioritizing God. Focus on focusing in church rather than just going for attendance. Then as you live a life which is completely submitted unto God, and you are living a life that is truly representative of a Christ follower, then all the desires of the old life will fall away as it did for me. Should a girl on a date offer to pay? I never know how to go about it. So for me, on a first date, I'd say no, just because on a first date, for me anyway, a man who is going on a date with a woman should be going on a date with the intention to marry, right? With the intention to start that covenant with and the intention to start a family, not just for casual relationships. So if they are going on a date with that intention, then the man should show from the beginning how he intends to show up later down the line, how he intends to show up during the marriage, which is by providing, which is by leading, which is by being the responsible man that God calls us to be. And for the women, allowing the man to pay, you said here, I never know how to go about it. Allowing the man to pay for you is a way of you affirming his role and also respecting the decision he's made to provide and to cover the bill and to pay for you. So for me, if a man is asking a woman to pay on the first date or is allowing her to pay, then that for me completely shatters his role as the provider. Because early on, if you're just feeling each other out, you should be able to feel out exactly who they are and what kind of role they want to play. And if you're a Christian, you want the traditional stuff. You want the man who provides, and you want the feminine lady who accepts the provision from the man, rather than the woman coming in and saying, I'm an independent woman, let me pay, and then the man be like, oh yeah, pay. Like for me, that just doesn't sit right. So yeah, if it's a first date, then let the man pay, let him offer. If he doesn't offer to pay, then red flag. But the first date, let him pay. And then in future dates, once you're actually solidified and you're actually together or you're married, then if you want to pay and the man lets you one time, why not? You're married together, you're best friends now, you're in a covenant, so you should be helping each other out when it comes to it. But first dates, the man should always pay. Right, it's probably going to be my final question, but how has your life changed since finding God versus traditional self-development? So for those of you that don't know, I was a very self-improvement junkie before I came to God. Like I read a lot of self-help books. I obviously went gym a lot. I was completely focused on me becoming the man, you know, it's that you versus you mentality. But I never found true fulfillment or peace or purpose in that. I was always stuck in a striving mode. I was always stuck in a performance mode. Whereas if I didn't stick to self-improvement, if I didn't get to here, if I didn't get to there, then I wouldn't be seen as good enough. Or I wouldn't be the man that people needed me to be. And yes, there is some truth in that. Every man should be able to get fit. Every man should be able to earn some money. Every man should be able to get to those places. But when you're doing it in a way where your identity is completely dependent on that rather than on God, then you are going to be stuck in a cycle of constantly trying to perform. The bottom line was I never found fulfillment in self-improvement. I only found me going into a deeper and deeper hole. And it wasn't until God pulled me out of that hole that I found true fulfillment, that I found true peace, that I found true joy and purpose, which is all the things that men in this life are chasing, but in all the wrong places. So if you are seeking growth in your life, try asking God, Lord, I've tried to do this on my own. I've tried to read all these countless books. I've tried to gain all this knowledge and earthly wisdom, but Lord, I'm still unfulfilled. Lord, I still don't feel like I'm becoming the person that you have intended me to be. So Lord, work in me. I want you to change me and I want to know you. It's not about me anymore. It's about you, God, and who you have called me to be, not who I think I want to be. And then when you are completely open to the fact that there is a God out there, that there is a God that wants you to grow, that there is a God who loves you, then he can start doing the work inside of you. And that's when your true journey begins, not in self-help books. I can confidently say now that there is nothing in self-help or self-improvement or self-development, whatever you want to call it, that God cannot give you. Everything is attached to God. Everything that is worth chasing. There is no better endeavor than to pursue a relationship with Christ. I promise you. Okay, that is all the questions that I have time for today. But as I said in the beginning, I am going to do a separate video on my testimony and my journey with Christ, so you guys can see where I came from, how I got to the place I am now, how I found my relationship with God, and everything that's led up to that. So keep an eye out for the next video. I appreciate you all sending questions over on Instagram. I'm sorry if I missed your question. I tried to answer as many as I could in this video. But yeah, keep an eye out for the testimony video. I appreciate you all. God bless you all. I love you all. And yeah, I'll see you on the next video.